This episode of the Afterbrews was brought to you by Trek CBD. I, of course, am Ryan Smeltz.
And Andrew Henning.
And Troy Johnson of YM4C, which stands for Young Men for Christ.
I don't want to be just some after dark, late night party thought when the night gets lonely. I don't want to be just an in-between, some old faithful flame when you're all going wrong. I want to be center stage, I want to be in your spotlight.
Do you need more water, man?
I just go through
Can you
it,
get a
man.
hose?
Yeah, I go through it, man. I drink water. I just drink a lot of water, man. I do. That's actually part of the weight loss, right? Is the water, you know? So hasn't always been that way. I haven't always had a great desire and taste for water. Thank you, Nick. I was made to, like mine in 2011. So 2011, I had gastric bypass surgery. So
Okay.
I'm a modern day Frankenstein, if you may. I intentionally turned my stomach from that to about the size of an egg. And for me, Ryan, honestly, I did that because clearly, we don't know the minute nor the hour. No, time is definitely never guaranteed to us. But I did say, whatever time I do have left, I want to feel the best that I can. So I was entrapped in a fat body for 31 years because I was the husky kid.
I have to dig your finger.
Yeah, I was a husky kid. I was Sears Roebucks. I had to order my pants. So I was always fat. What we got here? Chewy fruits. Uh-oh. Are they good? They sour too? Like Sour Patch Kids?
Not really sour. Just fruity. He's fighting them.
But yeah, man, that so after I got my gastric, it was hell the first year, honestly. I think about it, I had to go to a psychologist, I had to lose weight before they do it.
Yup.
I had to show improve, I had to go on a liquid diet. Oh God.
My fiance always watches that show, My 600 Pound
Oh, my
Life.
wife loves that, yo.
I think that's what
like, why
it
are you
is.
watching
And-
fat
and it's-
people, man? And she was like, you used to be fat. And I was like, I wasn't that fat.
That's fat.
For me, it's
That's
like,
ridiculous.
I got to go for a run now. Okay, good episode. Bye.
She likes that. She likes that and hoarding. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you watching this mess?
But like they got to do the same thing, so they get put on a plan or
strict
whatever.
diet,
And
yeah.
I mean, it's not easy because everybody thinks, they think that discredits you. Like I had gastric bypass surgery. Oh, okay, so you still got to work for it.
Man,
You
there
have
was
to-
nothing easy about that.
Yeah,
man.
and you could easily like Food Lion's right there, man.
I had
You
dumping
could just
syndrome.
go get more food
Trust
and
me,
ruin
man,
it.
I did it. I was my own. People say don't say that, Troy, but there's truth to it. I was my own worst enemy for the first year. You got to think about it. Psychologically, I've been fat for 31 years. I still like cake. I still like pepperoni. I still like fried chicken. My body just did. My body just didn't like it. Psychologically, I was still fat. So for the first year, man, I remember being curled up in a fetal position, just asking God, just take my life. Like I didn't ask for this. I had dumping syndrome. There was a time where all I could eat was watermelon. I had really destroyed myself. Where I would eat this stuff and I would throw it up, and it would just be horrible, brother. My wife she's 5 foot nothing, but she's not playing, and she wouldn't let me just soak and feel sorry for myself. She was like, "Yo, you got to get up. You got to do something." And I lost 100 pounds. I want to say in the first 90 days, it was like water, and it was a shock to my body.
Yeah.
I felt weak. As a big guy, I had girth. I had power.
Yeah.
When you lose weight that fast, your muscle tone, all of that, it's shocking to your body. But then that's when it happened, man. My wife wouldn't let me feel sorry for myself. After about a year in, I'm walking, I'm doing things, and then I really wanted to turn it up a notch. Never been a gym guy. I just can't. If I could do it myself, I would have been done. I wouldn't have been fat in the first place. But so I started studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing, and got good at it. You know, for a year and a half, it was 2 hours Monday through Friday. I would put on the gloves and box, and then put the gi on and roll around and choke people out. It was invigorating. Like it was the pivotal time of my life. I'd never felt this way before. I had wrote down on paper that I was going to train to be an amateur MMA. I was going to get in the cage. I was like, man, this is part of my bucket list. Just one time, even if it hurts. Yeah. I want to do it one time. And had gotten to the V, man, I had the V, you know, broad shoulders, small waist. My waist was like a 35. I was killing it, best shape of my life. And God knew better. So at Freak, started eating a whole lot of sugar. My fat boy is still in there. I still love sweets, still love pound cake, all that good stuff. Just can't eat as much of it, right? So had a good time at a cookout. And I came home. And my wife has a nursing degree. She doesn't study it now, but she went to Winston-Salem State. Anyway, we came back from the cookout, and she said I started going around the house feeling the wall like I was blind. And I don't remember any of this. Anyway, long story short, my blood sugar dropped to 25. Normal is 70. So I was on the verge of going into a coma, basically. I went into a seizure. I fell out in the bathroom. You can't see it, obviously, because of my beard, but my chin hit the sink and split it open. Then my knee hit the wall and put a hole in it, and I started going into a seizure, and my head was bouncing between the tub and the toilet. And my wife, luckily, she was there, and she said she grabbed me to try to pull me out so I wouldn't hurt myself. And she said that in the midst of the seizure, I was coherent enough to ball my fists up and start punching at her. Like she was bothering me. I don't remember any of this, Ryan. I was going through a seizure. All I remember, Ryan, I do remember this, similar to this instance here. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm all wet. I wake up, my shirt's wet, my pants are wet from sweating profusely. And I wake up, and there's 6 EMTs in my living room. And I wake up, I come to, I said, man, why are all these white people in my living room? Yeah, I didn't know what just happened, right? And they were like, sir, you just went through a seizure. Go get him orange juice and a peanut and a jelly sandwich right now to bring my sugar back up. And put me in the bus, in the ambulance, and they gave me this glucose mess to bring my sugar back. I can't remember specifically what it was called. Yeah. And it was freak. It never happened before. And anyway, I say all that to say this. I blew a week later, I blew my knee out. It was freak. I was at work, and my knee just said pop. I was off Davis Drive. Yeah. I was like 30 minutes from the house, maybe 40 minutes from the house. And my knee popped, and it swelled up to the size of a softball. And I had to get 2 cups of fluid drained off of it. Wow. And that was the end of my MMA career. So obviously I had to put a brace on it, couldn't do anything. It took 6 months to rehabilitate, blah, blah, blah. But I really felt like something was taken away from me when that happened, man. I went into depression and started eating again. I'm like, wow, because I was that dude. Like, I had never felt this way in my whole life, and it was just snatched away from me just because of that freak incident. So yeah, man, that's how the weight loss thing came about, brother. You know, but yeah, I was in a 6X. My waist size was a 60. Now I'm in a 36. You know, I still have the pants. I do push-ups on them just to remind me, you know, of where I don't want to go back to. So yeah, man, heck of a story, brother. I'm still waiting on to finish that book, but it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah,
that's a good title. Mm-hmm. I am curious. I'm gonna read this. We had one person text in a question. What caused you to get to 475? And then I feel like you just talked about this, but what was the trigger that made you decide to make a change?
My kids were the trigger. Yeah, I just wanted to be around for my baby girl. Yeah. You know, getting to 475, bad eating choices, and eating late at night. Remember, I was fat, but my attitude was still the same. I never felt sorry for myself. I was just fat and jolly. Yeah. You know, I wasn't low self-esteem or none of that. Same way you see now, yeah, same person. I was just twice the person I am. It was more of me, right? So, yeah, for me, it was just over time, man, like I was the overweight lover. Like I still got girls, women still love me. I was a big teddy bear. So the weight never really took away from who I was. I just made up in my mind that I didn't want to live this way anymore. You know, I wanted to live differently. I wanted to have a shot. And I'm still fluffy, but I'm not as fluffy as I was, right? So, I think I just got content, right? I was okay with being big. Like it didn't, you know, I was okay, and I was conditioned with fast food. I was okay, and I was conditioned with eating at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and never really even took the sense of that word we talked about earlier, accountability. I didn't take any accountability for that. And then, you know, my daughter came in my life and made me see things from a different perspective. You know, I didn't want to take out life insurance to make sure that that's what she got. I wanted to be here as long as I could, and not letting that be the reason. So, again, man, we don't know the minute nor the hour. You know, me losing weight doesn't guarantee me more life. But whatever life I do have left on this planet, I wanted to feel better about it while I was here. So, you know, that made me do that.
That's awesome. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
My brother, he never got that big, but growing up, he was always the chubby kid.
Yeah.
And now he's a huge gym head, just shredded.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same concept. I never want to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got me. I spent 10 years working out, sometimes twice a day. And now I'm like, I'm just kind of tired. I still like to go to the gym. Now I feel like my excuses get in the way more times than not. But because they're only open certain hours, and then if I've got to go into the office, the most opportune time for me to get there is 5 in the morning. When they open
In the gym, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
so
I like that
because they're at least the one I go to, their showers are not open. Sure, but
right.
so I got to go to the gym, go back home and shower, and then go back to work. So
that's an inconvenience, but
yeah, make it work, you know. But before the gyms opened back up, I was running at 5 o'clock in the morning by myself is even worse. Like it's boring.
Yeah.
So I try to take full advantage of that gym membership, and
yeah. There you go.
I'm not an aspiring MMA fighter, but
yeah. I like the punching bag now. That's as far as I go. Yeah. You could get the energy out quickly.
Yeah. Definitely. That's awesome, man. I know before we went live, I was talking a while back. We had a guy on. I always do this. I start talking about somebody, and I can't remember the name of their organization, but he does something similar, working with underprivileged kids.
Yeah.
I definitely think he focuses more on smaller groups and stuff, and we've been doing this for a year, so. It was before the pandemic that we talked to him, but I love what you guys do, and it's really awesome that you're able to connect with the youth in that manner and be able to help them out. But I am curious, like I'm sure you get all different types of young men, and kids. So like, what I know you said you have a leadership team of 7, but do you ever deal with challenging kids, and then maybe they come in with maybe a little bit bigger of a problem than some of the other ones, and how do you manage that? How do you hone everything and kind of bring it all together?
That's a great question. Obviously we can't serve everyone. We can't save everyone. No one can. Really big on doing a pre-admission session, really trying to find out the needs of the family as a whole. From our experience, obviously we're 3 years in now. That first introduction, that first opportunity to connect with parent, guardian, potential participant. And we always say if there is a consistent male figure, regardless of his title, that he's able to make himself available as well. We're not here to replace anybody. We want to add value to what's already there. and really define, what are the needs? What are the needs of this child? And based upon the services that we provide, do they fit?
Yeah.
Is this a good fit? And honestly, Ryan, in the beginning, it was just like, hey, we just want to serve, and we still do, but being more intentional and making sure that the services that we provide can be effective, and reach every child. We've run the gamut from kids that have been affected with trauma, potentially divorce, have been around individuals that may not have meant them the greatest or shown them the greatest example. And the importance of the leadership team is because every kid may not gravitate towards the big beard dude with the bald head, I may be funny to some, but maybe not to all. So that's why having a diverse staff, a diverse leadership team is so important. All of us bring something to the table. All of us have a passion for serving, but have different things that have happened in our lives that have affected the way that we see the world and in our own experiences to be able to pour into a kid. And that's what I love about what we do. We dare to be different, and we do differently. And we found great success in being able to bring a kid in. And really the first thing you build with any person, especially a child, is trust. Right? And I believe that that's done through familiarity, consistency. There's oftentimes a lot of the kids that we serve are used to people walking out of their lives. So for somebody that is being consistent and saying, man, I'm here for you. Come hell or high water, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to belittle you. Oftentimes everything you think of, do, and hear about, I've done 10 times. So, we want to use transparency and vulnerability as a superpower to be able to touch the hearts of young people. And we've found success regardless of the background. If you give us time, an opportunity, we can peel that onion and then dice that thing up. And then, once you dice it up and fry it up, it makes anything else better. So, that's what we've been able to do.
That's awesome. I like that. I figured as much from the, leadership team and the structure that it was like, maybe this kid over here doesn't connect well with this person, but they connect well with that person. So that's pretty awesome. And it's just great that you're able to provide like services and those relationships. I mean, even just talking to my boss last week on the show, that's key. I told him, I said, I really want to focus on the people and retention because I've talked to so many, even just business owners, they're struggling with their employees. They're struggling to hire. They're struggling to keep them on board. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to those relationships.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important. And I mean, granted, what you're doing is a little bit different because they're younger. Yeah. It's the same concept, right?
That's right.
Just connecting with someone and building that relationship with them.
Hey, man, we all need mentors, and I got 3 of them, brother. I'm 40, man. So the learning process doesn't stop.
Yep.
One of the things we feed into the kids is to be a forever learner, right? That you can always learn something new. Don't take things for granted. Be mindful. If you can't be respectful, be mindful. So I totally agree with you. And those are words that have resonated just from our conversation tonight. Intentional, responsibility, accountability. And for me, I think one of it's a skill. Listening, listening, be able to Grandma said, shut mouth grace, so yeah, I think that's really cool.
That's awesome. So just out of curiosity, like, you can go first if you want, Drew. I'm interested to hear, like, with this organization, what does kind of your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so I think that's something that we're trying to like define now, right? Yep. As he mentioned, it's for what is it? coordinator of fundraising, right?
Fundraising coordinator. My man, Drew.
So, I mean, obviously, I mean, there's two aspects of it, right? It's time, and then there's the elephant in the room, right? To run a machine, it takes some capital, and so just being able to articulate the value of YM4C. I mean, because everybody has potential, right? So, and then, as you said, it's people over everything. So getting to know someone at their core, to know what their core values are, and if there's alignment and they want to jump on the train, then we can show them how to do it in an efficient and effective manner. I mean, some people have more time, some people have more money, but it takes both. Yeah. And so just being able to articulate that to them, be in alignment with Troy, like, hey, this is these are our projects. As he mentioned, we have the golf, we have the 12-week mentor program, there's a plethora of things that people can come on board with. And so it's just about adding that value, aligning with the right individuals who would like to be a part of it.
Nice. That's awesome. I know, especially if someone doesn't have a lot of experience, that fundraising can always be a challenge, but I like the way you said, just articulating that value. And that's super important, especially if somebody hasn't heard of your organization before. Right. That's like, it's very challenging to just come out and be like, please contribute. Yeah. Like, all right, but who are you and what do you do? Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So what about you? I know you said you're writing a book, but what does your day-to-day with it look like?
Well, I have a 6-year-old that's in same as you, Drew. 14-year-old pretty much fends for himself, other than just making sure the accountability, clicking on the buttons to make sure things are in the right place. But the 6-year-old, we sit next to each other and kiss each other and hug each other all day. We have to support each other in this thing. So we call him Booba. That's his name is Redmond, but we call him Booba. That's his nickname. That's my day by day, man. I'm as the assistant principal of homeschool. The mom is definitely the principal. She's the everything. I'm there just to encourage. But outside of that, phone calls, emails, marketing, always something to be done, man. As a creative, things come in and out so quickly. So writing them down, I think we talked about that earlier, whether it be digitally or pen and paper, whichever one's closer at the time. But for me, we're also working on, outside of YM4C, building the 12-week program. We built 4 parts to that. So now a child can come to us and basically we could serve them for 48 weeks. And from our dosage versus duration, some of the successes we've had, that's the time frame that we believe, from what we've shown, that we could add the most value to this kid if you give us a year to really pour into him or her. Because we're able to serve young ladies as well through our virtual program. Yeah. That's one way we've been able to expand. Outside of that, we also have a virtual platform and do a show called The Bro Code Show, which is a virtual talk show. Myself and 2 of our leadership team members have come together to co-host that show, where we discuss, dismantle, uncover, and justify issues that concern us most as brothers, as a community, and as a family. So June 6, 21-20, so Father's Day of this year, we premiered our show, and we do it twice a month. So currently we've created basically a virtual broadcasting studio, have taken that and now used that to not just facilitate our show, but offer it to those in the community as a master facilitator, a moderator, and someone that can talk to anybody. Put me in front of people. I can care less what the subject matter is. I could talk about it. Yeah. So with that being said, now using those skills, using that creativity to build something that we could do Q&As, panel discussions, facilitation of any conversation, as well as virtual fundraising, and offer that to the community as a service. So now we have the Broco Production Studios, nice, where we facilitate our own conversations as twice a month, as well as use that broadcasting studio to basically rent out our services to be able to facilitate those same conversations for others. So I'm working on a show now called Dropping Pearls with Mama G. Mama G happens to be a 40-year activist in education. She's studying she's speaking out and advocating on a case called the Leandrio versus North Carolina, which basically says that every child should be able to be afforded a sound education, sound free and appropriate education. So right down our lane. As a change agent, as a CEO, author, motivational speaker, all of those things. But at the end of the day, a community leader, that's something that falls in our lane. So really walking in our purpose and continuing to use our gifts and our skill sets to be able not just to help the community, but even help to continue to bring in funds so that we can continue to help the kids, man, continue to spark creative mindsets.
I like it. At some point, I think we had a similar plan, just because we only hold this once a week. So it's like, right now we're doing nothing near that, but basically I'll take some of this home with me, and the fiance and I do a little show on the side just for the fun of it. But really just kind of putting it to work when it's sitting around doing nothing type deal. But I'm sure even like when it's up here, if Nick got with me and he was like, hey, these people want to do such and such, then, at least we'd be able to accommodate, because we have all this equipment now. So it's kind of nice. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah,
and next week, I think next week actually, we're having another podcast hosts, and so they outsource. So they hired someone like yourselves to do the setup, the recording, the production, and everything. Okay.
Now, ours is just virtual. We haven't done the face-to-face thing.
Yeah.
All using a virtual talk show platform.
Yeah, but still, it's the same concept though. Right. Yeah. So they just wanted to show up and do their show and leave. And so it's really great for that, because like after this, I take it home and I have to slice and dice and put it up, because we haven't hired an editor or producer yet. So that's definitely all on my shoulders. But then if somebody else wanted to come in and do that, I think we have pretty much everything to get them in the right direction. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool, man.